Jared Polis pulls a President Trump trying to whitewash his support for a new tax. Maybe he thought we lost this tape.
So you would support making Colorado the first state in the nation with its own carbon tax?
A powerful law firm in Denver is standing by its defense of the Saudi government after the Saudis are accused of murdering and dismembering a journalist. Democrats have a real chance of winning the state Senate. We'll explain how that could change Colorado. Then we'll be done with politics. We'll play What Do You Say with a mispronounced street in Denver and settle a viewer's family bet over the crazy polar bear pregnancy story from last night. That's next. Jared Polis supports a carbon tax in Colorado. We know this because he told us during the debate. We know he would prefer you didn't know that, because when he was asked about it last night, he called our reporting fake news.
It's not part of my agenda. We've never talked about it. It's kind of fake news.
Jared Polis is a wealthy and a powerful man, but he still can't change reality. Echoing President Trump's cry of fake news in order to discredit accurate reporting that he just doesn't like, that's a dangerous move. Here again is the Democrat from Boulder, front runner for governor, revealing that he supports the idea of a first-of-its-kind state carbon tax.
If there's revenue from carbon, we can bring people's income taxes even lower to save families money and help them enjoy Colorado we love.
So you would support making Colorado the first state in the nation with its own carbon tax?
Well, I want to be clear. This would be revenue neutral. We're not talking about increasing or decreasing the size of government. We're talking about how we pay for government. And yes, if you're talking about would I rather tax polluters than individual hardworking families earning $50,000 or $100,000 or $200,000, of course. I'd rather that we have a broader tax base and bring down rates for Colorado residents.
Polis was called out pretty quickly on this fake news double talk by the Colorado Sun, by us, by some of our viewers, and to his credit, Polis apologized. When a next viewer named Luke Henderson tweeted to Polis that his use of the term fake news was embarrassing, Polis responded on Twitter, quote, "You are correct. In these challenging times when journalists are under attack, candidates and elected officials shouldn't make jokes that could be construed as denigrating real media. I apologize and will try harder to refrain from doing so in the future." Between now and the end of this program, you are going to see 17 political ads, 17 ads for governor, attorney general, oil and gas ads, and one ad about a local state Senate race in Adams County. The vast majority of you watching cannot vote in that race, yet it and a couple more could have an enormous impact on our state. Here's politics guy Marshall Zellinger.
Beth Martinez-Humenick represents the working class. Faith Winter.
Christine Jensen is different.
Jesse Danielson is fighting for us.
This is not a truth test. Rather, an explanation as to why you're seeing so many political ads for state Senate races. The state Senate is made up of 18 Republicans, 16 Democrats, and 1 unaffiliated, who used to be a Democrat. Half of the Senate seats are up for election this year. 4 in particular will likely decide if Republicans stay in control of the Senate because of how close those races were in 2014. Senate District 16, which covers Jefferson, Denver, Boulder, and Gilpin counties, was decided by 1,900 votes 4 years ago. Senate District 20, also in Jefferson County, was won by 439 votes in 2014. Senate District 22, which is Lakewood and South, was won by 1,300 votes 4 years ago. And Senate District 24 in Northwest Adams County was decided by 896 votes in 2014. Because Republicans have control of the Senate, there is compromise or gridlock at the Capitol. Consider the Democrat-controlled House and the Republican-controlled Senate a check and balance of each other. But if the Democrats get control of the Senate, pretty much whatever they want passed will make it to the governor, like the red flag bill that the Republican Senate killed last year. It would temporarily remove guns from someone deemed an extreme risk. Democrats would also have an easier time on passing spending bills that Republicans might resist. Then again, it all depends who's in the governor's seat on whether those bills would be signed. As you mentioned, Kyle, the governor's race, the attorney general, even congressional District 6, that gets the most attention. But the politics that really impact you are decided by the people you elect locally. In this case, we're talking about the state senators that help decide how the state's money is spent. Will schools get more? Will health care get more? Are you going to start paying new fees that you didn't think you would have to, but the lawmakers said you did? Will guns be restricted more? I mean, it's not unheard of. We haven't had fully Democrat or fully Republican House and Senate, but it's been a while.
It has, and the fact is Jared Polis is a strong frontrunner in the race for governor, so there's a real possibility that it could be complete Democratic control at the State House.
And at that point, whatever they want goes.
All right, Marshall, thank you. One of Denver's top law firms will keep lobbying for the government of Saudi Arabia, even after the Saudis were accused of murdering and dismembering an American-based journalist. Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck gets paid handsomely to be the voice of Saudi in the ears of powerful Americans. Imagine this is probably not an easy time to be on Team Saudi in Washington. Western intelligence suspects the highest levels of the Saudi government were involved in Jamal Khashoggi's killing at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, in October 2nd. For weeks, Saudi Arabia has been the focus of international condemnation. Brownstein is making $125,000 a month lobbying for Saudi Arabia. While other lobbyists representing the Saudis have cut ties, Brownstein, based out of Denver, is standing by the Saudi regime. The No on 112 campaign has so much money you'd think they struck oil. They did, yeah, it's oil and gas money that is funding the campaign against drilling setbacks. The Yes on 112 campaign, they don't have much money. Appears they can't even afford spell check. Because how else would you explain the billboard that they put up warning about the threat to health and safety? Billboard stands near the Breakfast King off Santa Fe, first spotted by Sam Brash from Colorado Public Radio. Heath and safety first, everybody. Billboard's since been fixed. Hey, since we're mentioning Sam Brash from Colorado Public Radio, you should check out his podcast, Purplish. In-depth look at Colorado politics. If you're a nerd like us, you're going to love it. So the ballots are out. Colorado is voting. And we've been doing a lot of political coverage around here. We understand that perhaps you've been overloaded. So we're going to try to signal to you from now on, between here and Election Day, when we are done with politics. Yes, for the rest of this program, we will not be talking politics. I should note, I can't do anything about the commercials.
Domestic violence was a family secret.
It was so unexpected.
He's bringing it out into the open, hoping other families will do the same. And also next, we will settle a viewer's bet on the possibly pregnant polar bear shipped out of the Denver Zoo.
The FBI says Marshall Zellner was a mess from the start.
This is just plain false. The FBI has never said I'm a mess. My mom, on the other hand.
When he was young, he was so messy. There was this one time he went into his room and we couldn't find him for hours. Messy Marshall, that's what we used to call him.
I should mention, he's a felon.
Nope. I ran a background check on myself, and guess what? The only thing I've ever been guilty of is good journalism.
I swear, Marshall Zellner is not doing enough.
Wrong again. Remember that story a few minutes ago about the state senate? That was me. The Yes on 112 sign? I helped write it. This truth test? Me again.
May I make a recommendation? Marshall Zellner has to go.
This is true. I do have to go. Home for the weekend.
Todo está bien. Did you have a good summer?
I'm on track to do something good.
Our school, come on. We love weird kids.
This is me.
Place was like wow. It's gonna be great today.
I think that's amazing. I want to welcome everybody. That girl portrays determination.
That was a tight squeeze. Oh, wow.
Keeping my fingers crossed.
Too often we fall into this, there's this side and there's this side. Well, you know what? Sometimes this side isn't telling the truth, and we should be saying that. It's important to hear things you don't agree with because it is the single best way to test your own beliefs. It's a sign of thoughtfulness to hear a perspective that you disagree with and to say, you know what? I hadn't considered that. That's a really good point. I want to give you a fresh perspective, something that you haven't thought of. It doesn't matter if you agree. It just matters that we listen to each other.
Get to know the Johnsons 5 nights a week.
How about I give you $100?
No, 200, and you agree not to have any more children.
Okay, that's a decision I have. No.
A traditional family.
I'm here to help.
You're not Mom.
Where's Mom?
And an unconventional comedy.
I think you look good for your age, Dad.
40's not bad, right?
You're only 40? Good Lord, you've lived a hard life.
Weekdays starting at 5 p.m. on Channel 20.
Corporal O'Reilly goes by many names.
Big Daddy O'Reilly.
Big Daddy, just play the records.
I'm Walter O'Radar. No, I mean, I'm Walter O'Reilly.
But to us, he'll always be...
Radar! Radar!
They call me Radar. Only that's not my real name. They just use it like it was.
Radar, radar, radar.
Here's to you, Radar. One of a kind.
Radar?
That's me.
Watch Radar.
Where?
MASH, weeknights starting at 6 on MeTV.
Dismissed!
We are Broncos.
I'm a Broncos fan because we got the best team in the NFL.
My whole life I've been a Broncos fan.
Denver till we die. We bring the thunder. Bronco fans are the best.
It's probably the most exciting thing that you could ever feel.
They're the best team in the league, obviously. We got the best fans. The whole stadium shakes and everybody's jumping around and rooting and hollering. There's nothing like this crowd.
Broncos fans will always stay loyal.
We're looking forward to another Super Bowl win.
This is Bronco country.
We bleed orange and blue.
People are outside. People are active in this state. And I think by osmosis, people like sports. People like athletics. It's just a cool place to be.
If you ever listen to a police scanner, as we do in the newsroom, you will hear one call after another about domestic violence. 1 in 3 women in this country will experience some kind of abuse. It's why America dedicates the entire month of October to talking about domestic violence. Often difficult stories to tell, like this one.
My name's Chris Ogden. Danielle Ogden was my sister, is my sister. Danielle was the life of any room she was in. She had the biggest smile, the sweetest person, and she had dated her fiance for 3 or 4 years at that point. They had a 1.5-year-old baby boy together. She walked in the door, and it was assumed that at that point when she walked in the door, her fiance met her at the door and hit her with a large flashlight. And he caught up with her 2 doors down and shot her on the front doorstep of a neighbor's house. And then he proceeded to go back to their home and call the police. Told the police that there was a baby in the bedroom, in his crib, and then he went downstairs and shot himself. The coroner ended up telling my parents that they had found some bruising on her body that was older than, a day or 2 old whenever they looked over the body, but so it looked like there may have been some physical abuse previous to that, but we were unaware of it. You see movies, you watch the news, you never expect something like that to happen to your own family. And it was, I cried, I screamed, I walked around the block a couple times. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to think. When you're faced with something like this in your immediate family, you learn real quick about the severity of how things can escalate to that level. And I like sharing my story in hopes that people realize that there are other options and other choices besides violence. People sometimes get involved in relationships where they might feel stuck or scared and they don't know how to get out. And there's options and ways to get away from something like that.
Danielle's son Dylan is a junior now at Colorado State. He was raised by his grandparents. If you or somebody you know is impacted by domestic violence, you should know Safe House Denver offers services free of charge. They can help get you or someone you love out of that dangerous situation.
Looks pretty nice out there for a Friday evening. That sun just beginning to fade away in the distance. A beautiful night in Fort Collins, and really everyone looking ahead toward the weekend, and we have a lot of sunshine coming our way. Temperatures both Saturday and Sunday will be in the 70s. Some sunshine out there. Really the only caveat to this weekend's forecast will be for some stronger winds coming our way tomorrow. Otherwise, high pressure building in, and that should keep us nice and dry. But a little teaser ahead toward our Halloween forecast. I am tracking a storm system still sitting and spinning in parts of the Pacific, but that'll make its way here into our backyard potentially Tuesday night into Wednesday. So heads up on that. The rest of the weekend looking good. Tomorrow, nothing really going on our futurecast, as we'll have plenty of sunshine and daytime highs in the 70s, so close to 80 in southeastern Colorado, and some 50s and 60s out to the west. 70s take us into the beginning of next week, and then there's that next storm, a little rain, possibly some snow overnight into Wednesday. Kyle, for sure the trick-or-treaters going to have to bundle up.
For sure. All right, Danielle, thank you. Hey, the most Colorado thing we saw today. is one of our beloved dogs living its best life. Head out the window, feeling the breeze in Fort Collins with none of those nasty bugs in the eyes. I used to call these doggles, but then I learned that doggles is actually a trademark term. It belongs to one business. So it's like Kleenex or dumpster, but for dog goggles. If you see something that might as well be a postcard for our state, send it our way. Email next@9news.com or get our attention with the hashtag HeyNext. We think our world could use more good news today.
My good news is I'm here with family and friends for one of my favorite holidays.
And this week we told you how if the Denver Zoo's former polar bear is pregnant, only this dog will be able to tell. A family wants us to settle a bet about that story, and we'll do it next.
Pete.
Just being here is something rare.
No.
For 5-year-old Marin Stecken. This is kindergarten at the school in Creed. This is a normal part of life.
So do you mind answering some questions for them?
Marin's mom, Honey Stecken, wasn't sure she'd get to. Genetic testing revealed Marin had a rare metabolic disease.
The moment those words came out, propionic acidemia, I mean, it was the worst case scenario.
It could make you very, very, very sick.
So the median lifespan is 5.
Under a strict diet, Marin can attend school, due in large part to a medicine that stabilizes her bodily functions.
Come on.
But just being here creates something rare.
It's kind of like, wow, I can picture my kid, she's going to go to school and you're very excited. But then there's this.
The medicine causes a chemical reaction in Marin's body, leaving her with a problem that sounds funny.
It just smells almost like rotten fish.
But is very serious.
My little girl is walking around smelling so bad that people do not want to be around her.
After years of frustration, Honey found this webpage and a product meant for feminine hygiene that prevents the chemical reactions which causes the odors. Now Marin can play with her classmates. Now Marin can get dragged around the floor.
Like all those images in my mind of not being asked to prom or maybe not having friends.
Now Marin's scent is just like any other kid's. Just being here, turning something rare into someone normal.
It will not be her problem. It's not her problem anymore.
There have been frightening things in the news lately, familiar things for many Coloradans. Check in with your family and friends. If you or someone you know needs mental health support or emotional help, it's available right this second. A real person ready to provide real problem solving. Call or text Colorado Crisis Services. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.
My 20 is the home of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Tune in to My 20 every Saturday as some of the nation's best college football teams compete for the ACC title. The ACC on My 20, college football at its best.
All right, tonight we're back at it. We're settling a pronunciation debate. This time, this street in Denver. There it is, this street. West of Broadway, all the streets there, we've told you they're named for native tribes, and there are a lot of mispronunciations that are flying around. So, how do you say this one? Dorothy asked us to settle it once and for all. So we turn to our experts at the Denver Public Library to ask, what do you say?
Correct pronunciation for this is Alati. We do hear a lady sometimes as well. It is named for the Alati tribe, or sometimes known as the Lower Cherokee tribe. They were cave dwellers.
Oh, there you have it. It is Alati. That street has had a string of names over the years. South Tremont, Lyon, Lowell, Higbee, Antelope, all before Alati. All right, where to next? Email suggestions to next@9news.com or give us a shout with the hashtag HeyNext. Our next question comes from a viewer named Michelle. She saw our story last night about Cranberry the polar bear. You know, this is the polar bear just shipped out from the Denver Zoo because she was unable to breed. We told you here last night, there's a chance she's pregnant right now. They just don't know. The only pregnancy test for polar bears in zoos has been a specially trained beagle named Elvis. For 4 years, Elvis has been sniffing at the fecal samples of possibly pregnant polar bears, trying to tell zoos if they're pregnant. Michelle asked, only on this show, right? Do they fly the poop to the beagle or the beagle to the poop? Happy to do this journalism for you. Michelle told us this is to settle a family bet. They better be watching tonight. We reached out to Elvis's trainer in Kansas, who told us Elvis has left the building. He's not dead, he's just retired. But when he was working, they took the polar bear poop from zoos around the world, including one time from polar bear in Denver, and they took it to Elvis. As it arrived at the dog training facility outside Kansas City, the trainer and his team would line up as many as 50 samples in test tubes, and then Elvis would get to work.
He would sniff all the samples, and he was trying to, when he found the positive sample, he would take a deep sniff and go to a sit, and then he would be rewarded with a treat. He wouldn't dream of letting another dog near his polar bear samples. He was very possessive of them. You know, that was his test, his board. He got his special treats when he did it.
And you thought your job, yeah. So what Elvis was doing was smelling certain proteins in the pregnant bear's samples, and his trainer says Elvis was accurate about 95% of the time. He started doing this at the age of 2, stopped 4 years ago in 2016, and his trainer says Elvis is just loving retirement these days and could do the job again if needed. They still have 2 freezers with about 300 samples. Cranberry's up at the Alaska Zoo. Maybe she should ship one in. It's Friday, and you know what that means. Your good news and feedback next.
At camp, we believe all children should have superpowers, like the power to feel safe and the power to be protected. But each year in Colorado, thousands of children are victims of child abuse and neglect. You can help by supporting CAMP in their efforts to prevent child abuse. CAMP treats abused children, trains professionals, and conducts research to ensure a healthy and hopeful future for these innocent victims. Learn more at KEMPE.org and give a child the power to be a kid again.
The Broncos Huddle, Wednesday nights at 6:30 on 9 News.
You know what looks like on the very top?
If life was like a t-shirt,
You'll want to just wipe it so you can get a clean start.
the one for David Wyatt would be made out of 100% guilt.
I could be so much further in life right now if I didn't let, my addiction to alcohol get the best of me.
His life ended her life.
But apparently I drove drunk to the liquor store to get more liquor, and I wrecked.
He survived. He found his way to a place called Street to Life. They don't just make t-shirts here, they make a difference in the lives of people like Wyatt.
Homelessness, coming off of drug and alcohol addictions, coming out of prison.
I just like things done right.
Starting with a t-shirt that just might say, regret.
Said I want to do everything right. I don't want to make mistakes.
There are heroes among us. They don't fly or bend steel or ride off into the sunset. They simply volunteer to look after someone else's health by providing comfort, lending a hand, or simply keeping us on track. Everyone's health needs a hero. Who will you look out for?
Find out how you can participate in improving our health. Visit iparticipate.org.
Happy birthday!
That's wonderful. Thank you, dear Bree.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel so spring has sprung. And every time I see you,
You're not fooling anybody you know. Think young. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Friday, we make time for your good news. The stuff that's making headlines in your life, not the doom and gloom that typically populates the evening news. Tonight, we went in search of your good news on a short stretch of Colfax.
We are in Aurora, Colorado in the Arts District community. My good news is today we're reporting from Florence Square and we have beautiful weather.
My good news is that I enrolled in school today. My good news is I'm here with family and friends for one of my favorite holidays of the year. That is Marianne, and she is my niece.
There are a lot of barbershops.
My good news is it's my birthday today. I just made 29.
My good news is it's a beautiful sunny day and I'm happy to be a part of it.
I'll let you all a little secret. I did comedy for 20 years. You know how kids always do things like say stuff they don't supposed to say. Ask for things that they really don't need, like money.
You get the giggles easily?
My good news is I got a job.
My good news is that Freedom Forever Solar is moving to Colorado. I just got hired as a project manager.
The weather today on Colfax and Dayton is sunny and shiny and everybody's smiling and it's bright.
Yes, indeed.
Y'all just had a kid not too long ago. It's her first Halloween. Come on. Me coming out here for them means the world to them too. They reconnect with their mama. We try to talk about what progress is being made in our lives and catch up, and this is literally one of the happiest weeks for them too. It's a wonderful feeling when you have family with you.
That is reliably my favorite part of the week. So you remember Luke Henderson? He's the next viewer who called out Jared Polis for saying that our reporting was fake news, prompted Polis's apology. Luke tweets, "I can't remember the last time I saw a candidate or elected official say, yeah, my bad, I'll do better." Luke says it's not hard. He impressed me today. Kind of makes me sadder in a way. And Jen, thanks for making politics fun again. Yours are the only political ads I don't hate. You like our spoof political ads? Yeah, we plan to keep those coming. If you have an idea, you know how to get in touch with us. See you next time. Subscribe to the next YouTube channel and I'll buy you a beer. Am I actually buying them a beer? This could be a very poor idea. We need some terms and conditions. Offer subject to terms and conditions.